What's good, YouTube? Masex back with another video, and today it's 2.0 time. In this video, we're looking at the running backs. We're looking at the 2.0, so there's definitely automatically going to be some changes from the original version. And like I mentioned, it's 2.0, so we're going to continue this and look at all the positions again and just kind of compare and contrast. And with that, if you're new to this channel, you clicked on this video, odds are you're a football fan. So go ahead and subscribe, join the family. We're on the road to 1K, and you doing so, liking and subscribing, helps the channel grow. And then, of course, I deeply appreciate it. But enough with all that. We're going to take a look at my top 5 running backs. And without further ado, let's get to it. All right, and per usual, we're going to start at number 5 and work our way to my number 1 prospect for the position. And at number 5, we have Corm out of Michigan. 5'8", weighed in at 205 pounds. A legendary type of running back for the University of Michigan. Pro Football Focus in the 23 season gave him a grade of 84, which is above average. Really good season. A lot of touchdowns, touched the rock a lot, and that's the story of his whole career at Michigan, honestly. Had some injuries here and there throughout his career. Is one of the older backs in this class. After evaluating, kind of gave me a little cause to pause with the age, the mileage, and the injury concern. It does make me wonder, has he already peaked? And we do see that at the running back position more than any other position. Generally, it's a younger age of prime, younger age of peak. To me, he has a good floor and maybe a limited ceiling. Like I said, a lot of these factors weighed into why I had to drop him in my overall rankings. But Corm throughout his career plays much bigger than his size. He's short, but he's not small. He's a little under 5'8", but he's 205, 210 pounds at his playing weight. Posted one of the higher bench press of 225 in the entire running back class, and that just shows his strength. Very strong, yards after contact. Honestly, in 2023, very good season, obviously. You look at the stats, but it wasn't as efficient, and he wasn't as explosive. You could clearly see that. His rookie year will be 2 years post-meniscus, and I think that he could either potentially move back into form, or that could be something that cripples his ceiling for the rest of his career. It's not a guarantee that they ever peak that form ever again. Depending on where he goes, he can carve out a good career and be a solid starter for a few years. His prospect grade is a 6.15, meaning that the NFL does view him as more of a complementary or a backup running back with the potential to be a solid or at least an average starting running back. All right, number 4, we have Estime out of Notre Dame. At the combine, 5'11", weighed in at 221 pounds. A lot of people have totally tanked Estime because he did not have the best combine from an athletic standpoint. 4.71, I get it. It's not ideal. It's not what you want to see. I'm just not one of those that puts a lot of stock into the combine. Now, there is historical data that's going to show certain measures that you want starting running backs. When it comes to 40-yard dashes, for example, and like I said, 4.71, not good. But if you watch him on tape, there's plenty of runs with him breaking away in the open field, running away from defensive backs. Some people are track stars and others are just football players, and I think Estime is a football player. 221 was what he weighed in at, and I honestly think that he lost about 10 to 15 pounds trying to be cute and hopefully run a faster 40. Unfortunately, it did not work, and as someone with the background that I do have, I do know that too much weight within a short amount of time actually makes you weaker. It actually makes you less explosive. That's why Braylon Trice, not to get off topic, had a horrible combine as well. He looks like an NFL running back, Estime. Thick lower body, very agile for somebody 230 plus pounds. I've seen some wiggle, and I've seen him make linebackers and DBs miss, even in the open field. I think at the NFL level, at the very least, he'll be a goal line LeGarrette Blount towards the end of his career type of back. Red zone touches. I think that Estime could carve out a role, but while he's young, I think that he has what it takes to be an NFL starting running back, especially depending on what scheme he goes to. 2024 season, Pro Football Focus gave him a 94.2, which is one of the highest in the entire nation for all running backs. And he's going to break any tackle that's attempted with poor technique. I don't think I saw him go down to any lazy tackle or any arm tackle. Estime, I'm telling you, he's going to be one of those sleeper guys. We'll see where he goes in the draft. but I really think Audrey Estime can be one of those running backs that is a perennial starter. All right, next up at number 3, we got Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. At the combine, weighed in at 216 pounds, 6 foot even. Now the 216, you kind of have to put an asterisk next to it because he's not in his element right now. Tore his ACL back in November. Take that with a grain of salt. I believe his playing weight last year in 23, Texas had him listed around 205 pounds. But these guys are young. They're at that age that they're going to grow naturally in size anyways. He could very well be around that 215, 216 mark, which would be great because that means he has 3-down back potential. He can catch out of the backfield. I really love his burst. Very good vision. He finds that hole, plants that foot, and he goes. Doesn't have the second gear that I'd like. I have seen him got hawked down. Still nonetheless a really good player. He's a lot of people's number 1 running back in the class. He's the RB1. I'm a little hesitant though. He is young, and with medicine, we're seeing guys bounce back from ACLs faster than ever. I'll admit that. Recent history, we haven't really seen a lot of these running backs. We haven't seen a lot of these running backs return to the same trajectory that they were originally on. And I'm talking about J.K. Dobbins, Javonte Williams. It's just they don't have that zip that they used to have. And I'm kind of worried with Jonathan Brooks also being a one-hit wonder, which to add context, of course, when you got 2 NFL running backs that are older than you starting above you in Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson, that's understandable, but he definitely has the potential. If he's around 216, he has the size, like I mentioned before. He can run the ball, catch out of the backfield, smooth hands, and then he has burst to make big plays. For right now, I have to put him at number 3. Pro Football Focus gave him one of the highest scores of all running backs in the nation last year. He also has the highest prospect grade from the NFL, so the NFL does view him with the highest potential out of all the running backs with a 6.38. And of course, like I said, I'm not oblivious to that, but just for me personally, I have him at number 3. All right, moving into the top 2. Number 2 is Jaylen Wright out of Tennessee. At the combine, 5'10", 210 pounds. To me, had a very excellent 2023. I love the tape. Pro Football Focus gave him an elite score of 91.0. Now, that's going to shock some people having Jaylen Wright that high, but just for me, he checks a lot of boxes. Him weighing 210 pounds and still running a 4.38 was very impressive. He was actually a lot bigger than what I thought. I thought he was potentially sub 200 pounds, but to be 210, that checks the box that he could be an all-purpose back, 3-down back, because he can catch the ball out of the backfield, but he has vision, has burst, and he has that second gear to give you that home run, which is always going to put fear in defensive coordinators. Like you could say, okay, well, you kind of knocked Jonathan Brooks for the one hit. Jaylen Wright, yeah. Last year was like the first year that he really was able to come into his own and get enough touches to be dangerous. And even still, he didn't get like the full workload. But he didn't get injured. That's one. He's completely healthy. And then 2, we want running backs that come into the NFL with low tread on their tires. Jaylen Wright, to me, I think has everything that you need, checks the box. And I really like the efficiency and how good he is in space. A lot of one-on-one tackles he forced to miss. And to me, to be an elite back, especially in the NFL, you have to win the one-on-one battles. You can't let one guy bring you down. And Jaylen Wright's just one of those running backs I feel is only going to get better. He's young, he's healthy, and I feel like he has probably one of the highest ceilings in the entire running back class. All right, my number 1 running back for the class is Trey Benson out of Florida State. At the combine, 6 foot, 216 pounds. Trey Benson remains my number 1 running back. He was my number 1 guy back in November, December, and now as we move towards the draft, checked a lot of the boxes. To me, confirmed a lot of the boxes, I should say. Probably lost weight. He was closer to 225 when he played last year. Questions about his athleticism. To me, if you watch the film, 2022 and 2023, I don't really know what a lot of people were looking at. I'm honestly not surprised he ran 4.39 at 216, can catch the ball out of the backfield, clocked one of the highest miles per hour for the running back class. In 2022, had one of the highest break tackle rates, elusive rates. He's hard to bring down, and he reminds me of Javonte Williams, especially pre-ACL tear Javonte Williams, with the combination of speed, power, elusiveness, and vision. Trey Benson Benson, to me, should be the first running back drafted out of this class. He's young, he's healthy, he's strong. And even with him being the RB1 at Florida State the last 2 years, he doesn't have that much tread on his tires. And I think that that's going to produce a very high ceiling. And he could be one of those running backs from this class that makes a few Pro Bowls or maybe even an All-Pro at some point in his prime. Pro Football Focus gave him a score of 84.2, which is a really good score. Has one of the highest prospect grades from the NFL at a 6.23. For me, obviously with him being my #1 back, I would grade him a little bit higher than that, a little bit closer to where Jonathan Brooks is. But nonetheless, I do expect him to be, if not #1, the #2 running back drafted in this class. All right, and there you have it. These are my top 5 running backs for the 2023 class, the 2.0 version. Tell me what you guys think. As you can see, for me, I don't go with consensus. I do what I want to do. I evaluate based on how I measure certain positions. And honestly, I feel that I'm right about this. Definitely put your opinions down in the comment section. I like debate. Just keep in mind, you're most likely wrong. I'm most likely right. And we can have a little bit of fun. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to this video. We're on the road to 1K. We're getting closer and closer. I definitely appreciate the support. We're even getting to the point where I'm seeing some usuals, which is definitely a good sign of the channel. Be on the lookout for the next video for positional rankings 2.0. That'll most likely either be the quarterbacks or the receivers. I gotta go take a look back in the notes and see which one is next on deck. But this is definitely fun, and if you're a junkie like me, I expect to see y'all in the next video. But I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go. Y'all have a good one.